After thousands of hours of researching, testing, failing, and starting again, searching for the holy grail of hearth-baked, whole-grain bread with an open crumb, I set out for Sicily when I discovered that Italy, a global leader in regenerative agriculture, known for its exceptional breads and pastas made with soft white wheat and semolina, grows its wheat in glyphosate-free composted soil. The result, a healthier, more diverse microbial community from soil to gut. Absolutely exceptional. Just look at that crumb, open, light, with a deeply caramelized crust and incredible crunch. An impossibility with U.S. wheat. To get there takes time. This dough is fermented for over 30 hours to unlock the body's most healing, fuel, short-chain fatty acids. Here's how we make it. Place 228 grams of both Caputa Integrale and La Molesana's Semola Integrale flour in a bowl. Whisk together till it's well combined. Add 319 grams of water, that's 70% hydration. I like to use a Danish whisk because it works well to initially combine the flour and the water. Keep whisking till you pick up all the dry spots on the side of the bowl. Remove the excess dough on the whisk. Then use your hands until the dough is fully combined, dipping your fingers in water so the dough doesn't stick to your hands, gently squeezing through all the dry spots. Continue to moisten your hands just minimally. Squeeze the dough, keep squeezing, turn, squeeze, turn, get all the dry spots on the bowl. Mop it up, keep turning, folding. Then push it into shape. The dough will feel really smooth now. Then cover it up and refrigerate it for an overnight Autolyse. This long soak activates enzymes, increases hydration, and builds extensibility. The next morning, it's time to make our Levain. First, add 60 grams of water to a bowl. Then place 60 grams of active starter into the bowl too. I like to use a regular whisk to fully disperse the starter into the water before adding 60 grams of flour, 30 grams each. Mix it together well with a tablespoon and place it into a container with a rubber band to mark its rise. Cover and rest in a warm spot for 3 to 4 hours until doubled or tripled. Meanwhile, pull the Autolyse from the fridge an hour before mixing in the Levain. Do a few easy stretcher folds, then tuck and roll it a few times to help warm it up and smooth it into shape. You want the dough temperature to rise to at least 60 degrees Fahrenheit. Once the Levain is ready, press it well in the center. Add 82 grams, that's 18%. I use less Levain so when water is necessary for handling the dough, it doesn't overhydrate. Spread it gently with moistened fingers. Then fold the dough over from the sides, stretch and tuck. Repeat a few rounds until it's fully incorporated. Then tuck and roll until cohesive. In colder months, especially with an overnight Autolyse in the fridge, taking the dough's temperature is really important. The microbes in a sourdough starter, the wild yeast of bacteria, thrive in a relatively warm environment. 78 degrees is the sweet spot. This is the best temp for the starter as well. Folding a 75 to 78 degree starter into a 58 to 60 degree Autolyse will quickly bring the dough temperature up into the 70s. Now it's time to add the salt, 9 grams. That's 2% based on the total flour weight, 456 grams, the standard ratio for sourdough bread. Here we'll use the same process as the Levain, indent, spread, fold. Always wait 15 to 20 minutes after adding the Levain. This approach ensures that the dough is properly hydrated, the gluten is well developed, and the fermentation process is optimized. It also makes it easier to distribute the salt evenly throughout the dough, which leads to a better rise and a more open crumb. I use a notebook to track time, temperature, and every step. After adding the salt and a 30-minute rest, we begin stretch and fold 1. Check the temperature. Mine, after adding the salt, is about 75 degrees. Before starting the first stretch and fold, always check the volume using the bowl's indicator line. I bought these bowls in Sicily, but you can find them on Amazon. I'll leave a link below. It's very helpful to snap a picture here. It helps you track bulk rise later at the first and second coil fold. These checkpoints matter. Each set typically involves rotating the bowl a quarter turn and folding the dough over itself 4 times to build strength and structure. Wet your hands to prevent sticking. Reach under the dough. Gently stretch it upwards as far as possible without tearing it and fold it over itself. As the dough tightens, use your other hand as leverage. Rotate the bowl and repeat this process 4 times to complete one set. Then gently tuck and fold the dough a few times for added tension and gluten development. Cover the dough and let it rest for 30 minutes. You'll do 3 more stretch and folds, spaced 30 minutes apart. As you can see after the first stretch and fold, the dough is beautifully rounded with one visible bubble. We'll use the same process as with stretch and fold 1. Rotate the bowl and repeat this process 4 times to complete one set. Then gently tuck and fold the dough a few times. Early folds are easy, long, smooth stretches. Later folds require more tension as the dough strengthens. You'll notice bubbles forming and the dough standing tall. After each fold, I mark my notebook. It builds rhythm, memory, confidence. Take note. Make sure not to overhandle the dough because whole wheat contains all of the bran. It can cut into the gluten strands if overhandled. Gentle stretch and folds spaced with rest periods help develop strength without damaging the gluten. Cover the dough and let it rest for 30 minutes. Notice the dough tightening. This is exactly what we're building towards. Apply the same process as with stretch and fold 1 and 2. Rotate the bowl and repeat this process 4 times to complete one set. Then add a few gentle tuck and rolls. At stretch and fold 3, you'll notice the dough will become considerably tighter, smoother, and more elastic than it was at the start. Because the gluten network is strengthening, the dough will be better able to hold its shape. It'll also be less sticky. Each stretch and fold helps to align and strengthen the gluten strands, creating more robust network within the dough. The process of stretching and folding also gently incorporates air into the dough, contributing to a more open crumb structure in the final loaf. Cover the dough and let it rest for 30 minutes. This will be the final stretch and fold. Again, rotate the bowl and repeat this process 4 times to complete one set, then add a few gentle tuck and rolls. At stretch and fold 4, the gluten in the dough will be strengthened from the repeated stretching and folding. This allows it to trap more air and contribute to a better rise during bulk fermentation and oven spring. Here, the dough feels noticeably firmer and tighter compared to the 3 prior stretch and folds, setting up for gentle coil folds to come. Also take notice of the dough's increased volume and noticeable bubbles, a healthy sign of fermentation. These bubbles, primarily carbon dioxide produced by yeast and bacteria, indicate a thriving sourdough culture and contribute to the open crumb structure and flavor development in the final bread. As you can see, checking the dough's bulk percentage increase at the bowl's volume mark and comparing it to that early stretch and fold photo is very helpful. Coil folds involve lifting the dough from the middle and allowing it to fold over itself, and doing so again a second time in the second position. Then rotating the bowl and repeating the process 4 times to complete one set. Coil folds, being a gentle method, minimize the risk of overworking the dough and damaging the gluten network after it's been strengthened through the initial stretch and folds. This technique utilizes gravity and surface tension to strengthen the dough without degassing it. Handling the dough with the care it needs is particularly important for whole wheat sourdough, as bran can negatively impact gas retention if the dough is handled too aggressively. Once you're done, cover the dough and let it rest for 30 minutes. Once again, lift the dough from the middle and allow it to fold over itself. And do it a second time in the same position. Rotate the bowl and repeat the process 4 times. There are usually 2 rounds of coil folds. After the first or second coil fold, 30-minute rest. If you've hit about 50% rise and see bubbles with a domed surface, it's time to pre-shape. This dough is almost there. It's domed and smooth, and while it's packed with gas, those bubbles aren't yet pronounced on the surface. The gluten network in this gorgeous Italian soft white and golden semolina sourdough is well developed and strong. It's holding its shape, and you can feel resistance when you try to lift it and fold it. It's beautifully elastic, meaning it stretches well, and its surface is smooth and taut. When you're done, cover the dough and let it rest for 30 minutes. Okay, time to pre-shape. The dough hit its 50% bulk rise. There's big bubbles on its surface. It's domed, jiggly, silky, and elastic. Sprinkle the dough with a mix of rice and wheat flour. Turn the bowl over, release the dough. Wet your hands with a bench knife to prevent sticking and shape it gently into a tight, round bowl. Preshape, its primary purpose is to prepare the dough for successful shaping and to achieve a well-structured loaf. Those big, beautiful prebiotic flecks of soft white bran that you see on the dough's surface deliver enormous flavor to the sourdough and a potent fuel that your gut microbes turn into your body's most healing nutrient, short-chain fatty acid. When done, sprinkle the dough with the flour mix. Let it rest under a clean cloth for 20 minutes. For final shaping, generously dust a Banneton with the flour mix as well as the dough surface. Flip the dough with a bench knife, then gently pull its left side up a bit and then bring it to the center. Press down to seal. Do the same with the right side, pulling it over to the left side just a bit, press and seal. Then gently roll and tuck the opposite end towards you. Snug both ends. Use a bench knife to add some tension, then scoop it up and place it in the Banneton. Cover loosely and place it in the fridge for a 12-hour cold proof. Cold proof allows for a longer, slower fermentation, which develops a more complex and nuanced flavor profile and strengthens structure, resulting in a more open and airy crumb. Preheat a Dutch oven at 500 degrees for 1 hour. Remove the sourdough from the fridge and release it onto parchment paper. I add a few pieces to protect from bottom burn. Rub extra virgin olive oil on your scoring blade for a smooth score. Scoring helps the dough achieve maximum oven spring. Hold the blade at a 30 to 45 degree angle to the dough to make a swift cut. Drop the dough into the Dutch oven, add 2 ice cubes underneath for steam, cover, and bake for 25 minutes. After 25 minutes, remove the lid. Look at that ear, it's so beautiful. And put it back in for 30 more minutes uncovered. Longer bakes equal better crunch and shelf life. This loaf stays perfect for 3 to 5 days at room temp. The marble slabs of the oven floor hold heat steady and add fragrant pizza oven char flavor to the sourdough. Let it cool before slicing. No shortcuts, no guesswork, no tortured kneading, high hydrations or techniques. You can make this simply, joyfully. And when you do, you're not just baking bread, you're unlocking transformation. From composted soil to your gut, every slice is microbial gold.